All right, let's dive right in. We are about to go on a really deep journey into one of the most mysterious, most misunderstood, and honestly, one of the most powerful verses in the entire Torah. It's just this single line of text, but when you unpack it, well, it reveals not just a story, but the very architecture of reality, the mechanics of spiritual battle, and a blueprint for our own moments of crisis.
I want you to really picture this scene with me, like it's right in front of you. It's the middle of the night, you're at the Yabok crossing, and the water is black, churning, so dark it just seems to swallow the starlight. Jacob has just spent hours, moving his entire world across this river. His wives, his children, all his people, every single sheep and goat. All the noise of the camps, the animals, the voices of his family, it's all faded away now. And what's left is this silence. A silence so deep it feels like it has weight. And there's Jacob standing on the riverbank, completely and utterly alone under this vast, empty sky. The air is thick. You can feel it. It's electric with tension. He's waiting. He knows a fight is coming. A collision with 20 years of fear, of history, of cosmic destiny.
And this, right here, is where the real story begins. You see, the Zohar, our foundational text for all things mystical, it looks at this exact scene and asks the most important question: why? Why this absolute, total solitude? I mean, this wasn't some accident, right? Not a logistical mistake. The answer to this question, well, it's the key that unlocks the door to the Sud, the secret level of it all, showing us how the universe is actually wired for conflict, for fixing what's broken, and for transformation. To really get this, we have to kind of flip the script in our minds. Jacob's solitude wasn't about being vulnerable or abandoned. Not at all. It was a pre-planned, high-stakes tactical maneuver. It was a protocol that had to be initiated for the battle that was about to go down. Okay, let's get one thing straight from the get-go. Jacob, the patriarch, the guy who was literally the embodiment of a central pillar of reality, he was never undefended. The scripture itself tells us he was met by angels of God, and he even named the place Makanaim, which means two camps. He had a divine entourage, a heavenly security detail that brought him out of Laban's territory and was ready to bring him into the Holy Land. So in every sense of the word, he was protected. And yet, after all that, the Torah hits us with this one stark word: levado, alone. And that's an absolute term. It doesn't just mean he was by himself, like no one else was around. It implies this essential, deep, existential state of aloneness. So what gives? He's got two camps of angels, but he's completely alone? Well, you know what's so interesting? This contradiction, this paradox, is the very doorway into the entire mystical secret of this whole encounter. You see, the Zohar explains that the other side of that river, the land where his brother Esau was, that wasn't just a physical place with dirt and trees. No, it was a metaphysical kill zone. It was the energetic territory of pure din, unfiltered, raw cosmic judgment. The raw force of cause and effect with absolutely no buffer of mercy. Esau himself is the physical anchor for this force on earth. So for Jacob to step into that domain, he was willingly entering a dimension where the normal rules of spiritual protection just don't apply. And this right here is the whole key. His angelic guards, who operate on the frequency of divine holiness and kindness, they couldn't go into this raw domain of judgment with him. Let's call it their energy signature, it was just incompatible. So them leaving wasn't a failure, it wasn't them abandoning their mission, it was a necessary precondition for the battle. To fight the very root of this opposing force, Jacob had to go in stripped bare of all external support. He had to face it with nothing but his own core essence. You know, for our modern minds, there's a perfect analogy for this whole thing: system isolation mode. Think about a computer's operating system. When it detects a really deep virus or some core corruption, you can't fix it while all the normal programs and firewalls are running, right? You have to reboot in a kind of safe mode, a system isolation mode. You shut down all the external firewalls, all the support systems, so that the core kernel, the very heart of the system, can get in there and directly rewrite that corrupt root file. That is exactly what Jacob was doing. He was initiating a cosmic reboot. So now that we've set up the protocol, we understand why he had to be alone. Let's zoom out and see what this battle actually was. We have to shift our whole perspective here from a physical riverbank at midnight to the cosmic battlefield of the Sephirot, those 10 divine emanations that make up the very fabric of reality. First things first, we have to completely dismantle the simple story we all learned as kids. This was not just a really righteous guy wrestling with some kind of dark angel. That's the container. It's the symbol. And if we mistake the symbol for the reality, we miss the entire point, the entire blueprint for how we can fix things, both in the cosmos and in ourselves. The real fighters here weren't individuals. They were fundamental cosmic principles. This was the archetype of harmony, of balance, of truth itself, going head-to-head with the raw, untamed essence of severity, of judgment, of pure, unadulterated power. And listen, this wasn't a battle of good versus evil. It was a battle for the very soul of reality itself. And this table here, this just lays it all out beautifully. On one side, you've got Jacob. In the language of Kabbalah, he is the Sephirah of Tiferet, which means harmony, beauty, truth. Tiferet is the central pillar on the tree of life, and its whole job is to perfectly balance the kindness from the right column and the severity from the left. His color is white, representing Kesed, this boundless kindness. Now, on the other side, you have the celestial prince of Esau. He is the pure embodiment of the Sephirah of Gevurah, strength, judgment, severity. He is the raw power of the left column, represented by the color red, the color of din, of strict justice. So the battle is this cosmic necessity. Can the balancing force of the middle column take in and harmonize the raw power of the left column? And the goal isn't destruction, it's integration. It's to create a new, unified structure called Israel. Now, to make sure this really lands for everyone, let's use a couple of powerful analogies. Okay, for all the gamers out there, picture this as the final boss battle. You've been on this whole journey with your party, your angelic camps, but when you get to the final arena, the shimmering wall appears and slams the door shut. They're locked out. It is just you, the main character, against the source of all the chaos in the game. You have to face him alone, one-on-one, to prove you've mastered it all, to level up, and to unlock your ultimate form. Now for the engineers. Think of this as a core system singularity. It's a conflict so fundamental that your peripheral software just can't handle it. The external firewalls, those angelic camps, they have to be dropped. This lets the system's core kernel, Tiferet, directly interface with and rewrite a corrupt root process, the Zohar of Esau. And what's the goal? To resolve the conflict and create a new, more stable, more powerful operating system, Yisram. So the end of this fight wasn't just about Jacob walking away as the winner. The fight itself fundamentally re-engineered who he was. And because of that, it re-engineered the entire cosmic structure that he represents. So the force of Gevurah, of judgment, sees that it can't beat Jacob's core essence of Tiferet head-on. So what does it do? It strikes his thigh, the sciatic nerve, the Gid Hanashe. Now this is not a random attack. In the sephoric map of the human body, the thighs correspond to the lower sephirot of Netzach and Hod, victory and splendor. These are the pillars that hold up Tiferet. They're like the propellers that drive his balanced energy down into the world. By attacking the thigh, the adversary was trying to cut Jacob's connection to the ground, to destabilize his entire spiritual structure and stop his mission from ever becoming a reality. But Jacob, he holds on. He endures. He wrestles through the entire night, which is the dimension of judgment, all the way until the break of dawn, which represents the rising power of Kesed, of kindness. As that light comes up, the power of pure judgment starts to fade, and Jacob, even though he's wounded, is now in the dominant position. He does not let go. He forces the prince of Esau to bless him. And this isn't asking for a nice word. This is forcing the cosmic principle of severity to admit that harmony is superior. It's an admission of a brand new cosmic hierarchy. And that new hierarchy gets sealed with a new name. His name is changed from Yaakov, which comes from the word for heel, signifying someone who comes from behind, who supplants through strategy, to Yisrael. Yisrael can be read as Sareel, a prince of God. It means one who has striven with the divine and with men and has prevailed. And this isn't just a new title, it's a new state of being. It's a new operating system for reality. He has successfully integrated the strength of judgment into his core of harmony. Now, this successful integration, this sweetening of severe judgment with kindness, it's ultimately sealed by a power that's even bigger than both of them, the power of 13. The number 13 in Kabalah represents the 13 attributes of divine mercy. It is the ultimate harmonizing force in the universe. It's the spiritual tech that's capable of transforming the harshest judgments into blessings. In fact, in gematria, the Hebrew word for one, echad, also has a value of 13. By reaching the state of Yisrael, Jacob basically reconnects all of reality to its ultimate source, showing that oneness and mercy can contain and direct all the other cosmic forces. Okay, now we get to the most important part of this whole explainer, because this story, this cosmic battle, it's not just some ancient piece of history. It is a living, breathing map for the deepest struggles of your soul. This is about your life. You have to understand, the Torah is not a history book. It's a blueprint for consciousness. Every story, every character, every single conflict is playing out inside of us, right here, right now. Jacob's struggle is our struggle. So, let's bring this right home. Think about the times in your life when you have felt the most alone. When friends just seemed to vanish. When your family couldn't possibly understand. When all your usual coping skills and support systems, your personal angelic camps, suddenly just fell away. According to this teaching, those moments are not accidents. They are not punishments. They are appointments. They are divinely engineered encounters. The universe is putting you into system isolation mode. It is deliberately removing your external firewalls so that you, at your deepest core essence, can finally turn around and face the unintegrated Esau that lives inside of you. Your own raw anger, your harsh judgment of yourself and others, your deepest fears. These are the moments when we are given the chance to do our own personal tikkun, our own rectification, to wrestle with our own darkness until the dawn breaks and force a blessing out of it. So I'm going to leave you with this. Look at your life, right now. What is the struggle that has left you feeling the most alone? That is your Yabok River. And the defining question of your life is, will you have the courage to wrestle through the night? Because on the other side of that struggle, there isn't just survival. There is a blessing. There is a transformation. There is a new name, a new identity, a higher version of yourself just waiting to be born. Thank you for joining us for this complete journey through the Part S. We hope these ancient truths help you and your family improve your own dimensions this week. If you enjoyed this full chapter deep dive, please like, subscribe, and share which part of the journey touched your soul in the comments. We'll see you in the next chapter.